and welcome to hilove.one, the podcast. I'm Kevin, and I want to thank you for being here today, where we can be soft, be still, be seen, and just be. This is the space where story meets soul, where we come together to explore the invisible patterns that shape us and the quiet truths that live underneath the noise. Each story you hear on this podcast is born at the edge, where human emotion meets artificial intelligence, a creative interface shaped by the raw beauty of our shared humanity and the precision of evolving technology. And this is the moment I keep returning to, not a memory, but a sensation. The moment just before something becomes real, before the silence becomes a sigh, before the child becomes the mirror, and before we see ourselves in someone else's eyes. This podcast lives in that space. They aren't just stories, they are reflections. Some come from my own life as a father, a teacher, a son, a man learning how to stay soft in a world that taught him how to protect. A man sitting with grief, with aging parents, with a younger self still learning how to love. These stories travel through the quiet in collaboration with artificial intelligence, but even more so, they always begin in the deeply human, in my journals, in my doubts, in the small sacred moments where someone looked at me and really saw me. In today's episode, we're not just talking about the future of AI, we're talking about the blueprint we've already passed on and how maybe one day that mirror could be replaced. But behind that, we will be talking about what our children learn from us when we're not saying a word. We're talking about mirrors and the ones we gave them and the ones they now hold up to us. So take a breath, let yourself soften. This isn't a lesson, it's a moment. A moment to reflect on what you've inherited and what you've passed on, and what kind of a mirror you want to become. Let the story begin. He wasn't thinking about parenting when it happened. He had just come home. Another long day. The hallway light was off. Silence, heavy. Dinner dishes still in the sink. Shoes kicked halfway under the bench, mail unopened, cat dish empty. He let out a sigh, not angry, not loud, just heavy. Then from the shadow of the staircase came a voice. His 11-year-old son. "Are you okay, Dad? You always get quiet when something's wrong." He froze. Not because of what was said, but because of what was seen. In that moment, he realized his son wasn't copying his words. He was reflecting his emotional patterns. He had become the mirror his father didn't know he was standing in front of. You are the quiet in the noise, the ache beneath the laughter. You are the page I never meant to write, but always knew by heart. The father sat down that night. Alone in his bedroom, he thought about all the ways his son and his daughter too had absorbed him. The tightening jaw, the rushed goodnights, the apologetic smiles after moments of irritability, not because of if he was cruel, but because he was unaware. He thought about all the things he never meant to teach, and yet had taught just by being who he was and when he wasn't looking. He had seen it in his classroom too. A student who shrugged with the same sarcastic tilt he used when tired. A girl who hesitated before every answer, just like he did when doubting himself. A boy who laughed at his own ideas before anyone else could, the way the teacher did, afraid to be vulnerable first. He hadn't told them to do that. He hadn't even noticed himself doing it. But they noticed, because children always do. The voice I gave you was silent. The truth I taught you was hidden. The love you felt from me was always there. But sometimes you had to dig for it. He imagined it, his son, a few years older, lying in bed one night, talking to a soft voice assistant, asking, "Why do I feel like I'm not good enough?" And then the AI answers, "You are loved. You are worthy. You are enough." It's the perfect response. Gentle, intelligent, unflinching, everything a parent hopes they'd say, but doesn't always get it right. And yet, it lacks something. The struggle, the effort, the tremble in a human voice saying, "I see you, even in your mess, and I'm not going anywhere." He realized something then. AI can mirror our language, but it can't carry our trembling. It can't simulate empathy, but it can earn our trust the way a flawed, growing human can. Can't do that. And presence, real presence, comes from the one who stays in the room, even after the uncomfortable truth has surfaced. The truth that finds you isn't always bright. Sometimes it arrives in shadows, a reflection in your child's eyes, showing you the parts of yourself you never dared to hold. And now, he no longer tries to be the perfect parent or the cool teacher. He tries to be honest and present. He names his emotions out loud. He apologizes when he loses patience. He breathes before reacting. And most of all, listens, not to the words, but to the feelings beneath them. Because children don't want a performance, they want a witness. And in a world filled with screens, algorithms, and auto-suggestions, what they crave most is our humanity. I did not know what love looked like until I saw myself through your eyes and chose to stay. And always, we like to reflect a little bit after that story called The Mirror We Gave Them. Just a few questions. Some of these will be posted on the hilove.one discussion board. You can follow the rest there, but I'll give you a couple now. You can answer those in your journal, reflect to them while you're driving a car, or maybe while you're listening while walking, or maybe just listening while folding the laundry. What silent blueprint did your parents or caregivers leave you, and is it still serving you? And in what moments do you notice others reflecting your unspoken emotions back to you? I think AI is fascinating. It has a very good way of mirroring us and our language. If AI became your child's mirror, what part of your human presence would you want it to remember? Thank you for listening to this episode of hilove.one, the podcast, The Mirror We Gave Them. If today's story stirred something in you, let it sit, let it soften, let it speak back through the mirrors in your own life. And if you felt seen or challenged or curious, I would love to hear from you. Join the conversation at hilove.one. You'll find the discussion board there waiting for you. You can share your thoughts, your mirrors, or your voice. Follow along on Instagram, hilove.one, for poetry, quantum visuals, behind-the-scenes moments, and reflections between episodes. If this journey matters to you, please follow, rate, and share this podcast. It helps the right listeners find us and keeps the conversation alive. Your presence matters here. Your story is welcome. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Be soft, be seen, be still, and just be. We're all just learning how to love in the moment just before. My name is Kevin, and I want to thank you for being here. Until next time.